Hello, hello. Hi, gang. Good Saturday morning. Hey, we got some family business to address here. I am not happy, not happy. And I will explain in just a moment. But here's something I'm more pleased about. Parks Casino. Hello, Parks Casino, and thank you. Miserable weather as I came into the studio in Center City, Philadelphia today. If you're, close, proximal to me and looking for something to do this weekend, it's all happening at Parks Casino and Sportsbook, the number one casino in Pennsylvania, the only casino and sportsbook that I recommend. Catch a show by top headliners. Oh, by the way, Il Divo performs tonight. They're a talented group of tenors, and some tickets are still available. A lot of other big-name acts are coming. Comedians Jay Moore and Daryl Hammond, Dionne Warwick, Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains, Clint Black, Tracy Morgan, Travis Tritt, and TC's favorite, Foreigner, Hot-Blooded. Check it and see. In all seriousness, to purchase tickets and find a complete list of all the headliners coming to Parks or the Excite Center within Parks, go to parkscasino.com. The Parks Casino and Sportsbook, I love them. Got to be 21 or older. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Thank you, Parks. You might see me at Parks this weekend. Who knows? Okay, the family business is this. Why didn't you tell me last Saturday when we were together? I was all excited, and we'd had a vote on this. I was all excited about my new specs. There they are. You voted for them. I bought them a lot. But nobody liked them on air because they said they were too low and that you couldn't see my eyes. And I think part of the reason is that when I was test driving glasses, I probably came on and I went like this. Like, hey, what do you think of this? And I looked up a bit. And they're fine, right? But on TV, now I'm going to show you what it looks like on TV because I'm in my studio, obviously. So I sit back and I'm like this. This is my normal. Too low. It cut right into my eye. And I think they're a little bit low here too. And now, I bought them. They're mine. You break it, you own it. I didn't break them. But did anybody else not notice this? Julia, I did not vote for them. Bruce Clark, true. Barbara Antio, I said I didn't like them too light. Oh, now you're all saying. So now you're all saying, we told you so. Fabrizio likes the smaller ones. Fabrizio, you get your wish. The problem, Fabrizio, is that the smaller ones have an old prescription. And when I go from, the new prescription to the old prescription, my eyes get blurry. My vision gets blurry, I should say. I don't know what I'm going to do now because I've got this new pair of glasses and they're beautiful, but they just hang too low and you can't do an adjustment. I can't see your comments because I'm not wearing my glasses now. I assume some of you are going to say, go get them adjusted. And the people from whom I purchased them, they're wonderful. And guess what? They were watching last Saturday. I'll give them a shout out because they're so damn nice and it's not their fault. It's mine and yours. Optique at Rittenhouse Square in Center City. Great people. And Sophia, I sent her a note and I said, you know what? I'm not sure about the glasses. And she said, I was watching. Come back in. But they can't be adjusted because of the way in which they're constructed. See how fat that is? That's not going to get it done. It's not going to raise it up the way that it needs to. The problems when you're a vain person, such as I am. Fabrizio, how's that? Yeah, I'm going to do this today. I do like the smaller. And now you're saying to me, well, why did you even change? I don't know. It's been 9 years. 9 years. This past Wednesday was the 9-year anniversary of my launch on CNN. And I figured I wanted to, shake it up a little bit. It's a lot bigger, isn't it? They're damn nice. I love them. They just need to be higher. So, all right. By the time I get on air, my vision will have settled. So, yeah. Anyway, next time, tell me. Jeez. Do what you love, says Michelle Moore. Michelle, if you love something, set it free. And if it returns to you, it never was, or some such thing that we all put in our high school yearbooks. Who thought of that? Keep the new ones as backup, says Michael Holm. Yeah. Contact lenses. Wendy Diamond, because I got a lot of skin. I don't have much hair. So I think I need the specs to break up all the skin. You didn't ask us about style, only color, says Melissa. Melissa, I don't think that's true. And in my Instagram account, I had like four different choices, and we voted. New t-shirt idea, free the glasses. TC maintains that she owns a Free Harry t-shirt and wears it. Nobody's ever seen her in it. Wouldn't you like to see the proof? I would. They are an accessory. See, I can't even see your name. Lizette Dolhanty. I really liked the blue-purple one, says Chris Mack. You mean these? But I think they have the same problem, don't they? I think they do. I don't know. I don't know what the hell to do. Oh, my God. The older ones are better, says Chuck Hall. Well, Chuck would know. I trust Chuck's judgment. We were neighbors growing up. TC, I may or may not own a Free Harry t-shirt. Why don't you take a picture, TC, today and put it in social media? Little show of loyalty to the program, don't you think? Michael Holm, congrats on the 9 years. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Michelle Moore, complimenting my eyes. Thank you for that. Okay, gang, let me get down to business. So I want to talk about the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank. It's not my strong suit, but I've got to do it. It's a lead story today. If I look at, page 1 of the Times by way of illustration, there it is. I've been doing a lot of reading in on it. You might think that this is funny, but I read something interesting about SVB, as they call it, 16th largest bank in the country, or at least it was until yesterday, second largest bank collapse in the history of the United States. It seems like an isolated incident. I'm asking today whether this is a one-off or will there be some contagion? That's the poll question. I'm totally prepared for less voting than we normally get on a Saturday, but I felt like I need to do this because it is a very important story and with potentially big consequences. But if the voting comes in only at 10,000 or something today, I won't be bummed about it. But I read something interesting. I read that that the FDIC protects your deposit up to $250,000. Wouldn't you love to have $250,000 in one bank? But that's the level of protection. It used to be $100,000. Now it's $250,000. In reading in about SVB, I read that nearly all of its depositors held over the insured FDIC limit of $250,000 in their accounts. Nearly all of them did. And you also recognize that if everybody shows up at any bank and wants their money back, the money's not there, right? I mean, any bank would collapse if there were a run on it. And when I think of a run on a bank, what comes to my mind? I want to just see if anybody guesses this. I mentioned the subject of run on the bank, and from culture, from our culture, there is an example that popped right into my head. Yeah, okay, who got it? Oh my God, look at this, amazing. Just like It's a Wonderful Life. I think Sean was first. Yeah, Lizette, you all got it. So I went back and I watched the scene this morning. It's a 4-minute scene, and there is a run on, what was it called? Bailey Building and Loan. And George, is headed off to his honeymoon and turns the car around because they realize there's something odd going on at the bank and everybody's showing up and they all want their money. There's a guy who wants $242 and George tries to talk him out of it and he's like, no. okay, if you really want your 242, I'll give it to you in 60 days. Sign right here. And the guy's like, what do you mean 60 days? Well, that's what you agreed to. And there's a lot of back and forth. And then George's wife, new wife, says, hey, I've got $2,000. You know the scene. And then I may have been reduced to tears in, again, for the 1,000th time, seeing Miss Davis, who is asked by George, what does she need? And she says, $1,750. And he gives her a big kiss, and they make it. And old man Potter, who's paying 50 cents on the dollar, doesn't get to close Bailey, Biddle, and Rome. Bailey, Biddle, and Rome. Listen to me. Bailey, Banks, and Biddle. Bailey, Building, and Loan. And they live for another day. That's the extent of my knowledge about banking and runs on banks. But I'm asking today whether this is going to be an isolated incident, and I hope that it will be. From the Wall Street Journal lead editorial on this today, I thought they had a pretty interesting observation. This bank was totally tied to the tech industry. And as interest rates have been rising, it has put an exceptional burden on this bank and their clientele because they don't have other places where they can go. The question most needing to be answered, I think, is what happens on Monday when a lot of those startups totally reliant on SVB need to make payroll. I mean, $250,000 and below come Monday, the FDIC is going to make good on it. But what will be the extent of any potential government bailout on SVB? And that's where I come to the Wall Street Journal lead editorial today. They say, if SVB was doomed, it is better to let it fail than to have the government bail it out, despite what one hedge fund lord suggested this week. Didn't we learn from the 2008 crisis that the Fed's rescue of Bear Stearns encouraged everyone to believe that Lehman Brothers would be rescued too? It puts me back in a time warp of 2008, and I remember that exactly. People thought that Lehman would get bailed out because Bear Stearns had been bailed out. Hopefully it remains isolated. I think that it will. That seems to be what folks with expertise are saying, but some people are going to get hurt in the process. Some people are getting hurt in the process. So anyway, that's today's poll question at Smerconish.com. Go vote as to whether you think this is going to be an isolated incident or whether you think that there's more risk of contagion. How did I actually word it? Is the failure of Silicon Valley Bank an isolated event, or will there be a broader financial contagion? I'm also going to today talk about, I've already done so on radio, but I want to talk on CNN about the potential, the Times reported Thursday night, the likelihood that Donald Trump is indicted in the Stormy Daniels hush money case. I consider Lanny Davis a friend. I told him in a text last night, I said, Lanny, you look good in camel hair. He's got a camel hair coat on. Nice. I used to have a camel hair coat. It was my Uncle Al. My Uncle Al left it to me, and then I grew out of it, sadly, but I loved wearing it. But I saw him with Michael Cohen, coming out of the prosecutor's office yesterday, and I had to say that to Lanny. Now, having exchanged pleasantries with Lanny, I don't think that Lanny will appreciate what I'll be saying in my commentary today, which is, as I look at the landscape of the potential areas of liability for Donald Trump, these 4 buckets that are out there, I think this is the weakest. And I don't understand it. I don't understand why Alvin Bragg, having had opportunity to prosecute Donald Trump for what I think were stronger cases, passed on that opportunity. One example would be Letitia James' prosecution of Trump and successful case against the Trump Organization and Trump payroll company, defended, by the way, in that trial by 2 friends of mine, veteran criminal defense attorney William J. Brennett and Michael Vanderveen, both Philly lawyers. I don't understand why, if Bragg could have prosecuted for those facts, he didn't, and instead he wants to prosecute based on these for a hush money payment in a 7-year-old case. Where, even the Times today says that it's a risky legal theory. because in order for this to become a felony, you've got to blend together two different charges. Has never been done before. And it's also an unprecedented case of indicting a former president of the United States. Do you really want to put it all on the line for a case about sex? And might this influence, tarnish, frame the other investigations that are underway pertaining to Trump? I think it's a good thing for Trump. I really do. If this is the first one in, it gives him the opportunity to say, wait a minute, if they spent all that money and they've looked at every aspect of my life and they went through all my tax returns, and the best they can do is payment to a porn star that I didn't do, they'll disparage her appearance and so forth, 7 years ago. I don't get it. The other thought I have is that Ron DeSantis was in Iowa yesterday. So too was Nikki Haley. Donald Trump will be there on Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, meaning Fani Willis in Fulton County, Jack Smith, the special counsel, and Merrick Garland, you got to make a decision, because the 2024 presidential election is on. It's on. And the further into this process that they make a decision, especially if it's a decision to indict, the worse I think it will appear. It will appear politically motivated. What is so complicated about the Mar-a-Lago case, the mishandling of the classified documents? It seems a rather straightforward case of obstruction of justice, mitigated maybe in the court of public opinion by the fact that Biden and Mike Pence also had classified documents, but they didn't obstruct and they cooperated and they handed them right back. But maybe that's given pause to the feds, geez, are we going to go after him for that? But if you are, you need to do it now. So there's Mar-a-Lago. There's, I think, the more difficult January 6th bucket. And then there's Fani Willis, the Fulton County district attorney, who's had a grand jury, an investigating grand jury. But then you had this four-person step forward. I've never seen anything like this before, and does a very brief but nonetheless media blitz, and I think gives Trump's lawyers ammunition to say that that process has been tainted. I mean, Trump really steps in it, doesn't he? And comes out smelling like a rose. He has classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. You think, wow, the feds really have them. They execute a search warrant, and then all of a sudden, Biden has them too. All of a sudden, Pence has them too. Fulton County, the perfect phone call, alternative slates of electors, meddling in the elections. Like, holy crap, he's got a problem. Oh, wait a minute. This four-person wants her 15 minutes of fame and throws a monkey wrench into that. It's amazing. I want to talk about Trump. I'll do so with Renato Mariotti, great guest, former federal prosecutor. Aaron Klein will be my guest. Used to serve in a high level in the Treasury Department, talking about SVB. That's the poll question of the day. Hey, I'll tell you something interesting. You know what happened to those four so-called medical tourists, two of them dead, the cartel. We have a story being posted at Smerconish.com today about this very warped code of honor that the cartel maintains. Hence, they dropped off, 4 or 5 guys that they said were responsible for it. A radio caller of mine named Katie Moreau is going to be my guest on CNN today, because she was one of the people who called when we did a segment talking about how many Americans, it's like 1 million a year, cross the Mexican border for healthcare. So we'll talk about that subject. And, 2 more things. It's a 5-block show today. Wow. Jeff Wise on MH370. Watch the Netflix special. It's great. It's 3 parts. You know how it ends. They don't know where that plane is, but it's still really interesting to watch. And then another radio road tested guest, Jason Torshinsky. He's an attorney based in Washington, talking about sore loser laws. No Donald Trump. You can't run for the Republican nomination, lose, and come back third party. Final thought. Robert Stutz, somewhere in this chat early on, said that he really enjoyed the gardening calls. We did a segment. I hadn't intended to do it this week on radio. It was very organic, but people started to call and talk about their vegetable gardens. I'm going to plant seeds in my family room today. That's going to be my afternoon breath of fresh air, is to plant some tomato seeds, hopefully with the help of one of my sons, in the family room. Grow a garden. It's so therapeutic, at least for me. And it's cheap. It's a cheap form of entertainment. Go get some burpee seeds or your seed of choice and plant. Yeah, you'll be so thrilled that you did. And like in August, you'll be making a salad as I do from things you've grown. And it's just such an awakening circle of life experience. That's all I got. That's all I got. You want to see them one more time? You better look at them now because you're never seeing them on TV again. See, I think I went like this and you all thought, yeah, they look great. But no, that's normal. And when my head is down, they're cutting right into my eyes. Everybody said, oh, we kept waiting for you to push them up last week. What am I going to sit there and go like this the whole time? I can't do that. So here they are, the 9-year specs. Maybe I should have just danced with the one who brung me, right? Maybe I should have just hung on to these from the get-go. Hey. Have a great day. Thank you for watching. Thank you for everything. Sincere thank you for everything. Okay? I'll see you soon. Watch me on TV. Hopefully we replay at 3 o'clock today if there's no breaking news. See ya.